Good day, viewers around the world. It's Friday, 15th January 2024 here in Milan. It's morning here in Milan, Italy. And you are welcome to our new SSM News Echoes. Today is the world affairs that we look into. And what we're actually doing today is what we call recap of world news and all major occurrences in 2023. So we're rolling back to 2023. You're welcome, viewers. But to join me to do this beautiful presentation are my colleagues and friends, George Chukwu from Toronto, Canada. George, good morning. It's morning.
Good morning, Massive Mark. Good morning, viewers from around the world. We want to welcome you to our show today. It's going to be a fantastic one.
It's going to be a fantastic one, but we can't have it complete if we don't have more coordinators in the different parts of the world. So right there in Germany, Western Europe is our man, Stephen Adioye. Honorable Stephen, you're welcome. Stephen Adioye. Okay. I think it's still that network thing. George, you are welcome once again. So, George, what we're doing today is a recap of what we've done is pick out 10 most significant world events in 2023. Yes, 2023 unfolded as some people call it tapestry of global events, each woven together in its narrative and most complex fabrics of world affairs. Yes, complex fabrics, George. So I know you are prepared to hear some of this and go with us.
Yes,
so
yes.
we're starting, George, with something that was very, very, very. It took the whole world. It took the whole world, and that's the coronation of King Charles III of United Kingdom. King Charles III of United Kingdom. So it's a year now since the passing, 2 years now since the passing of the mother, the Reverend Queen Elizabeth II. After she died, a coronation ceremony for the eldest son, King Charles, and the wife, Camilla, she became a queen, automatic. Camilla took place on the 6th of May, 2023, right there at the Westminster Abbey. The ceremony it was a global thing. UK television audience said they had close to 50 million people all around the world watching that broadcast on 2023. So, George, how was it? Camilla, King Charles III being coronated king, and that was happening in our lifetime.
Yes, it's been it was a fantastic one indeed. Having only known the Queen Mother, Queen Elizabeth, ever since I was born, basically, and to see a new king emerge, King Charles II. It came with a lot of mixed feelings. It was an exciting one. Canada is one of the Commonwealth countries, and Queen is still Queen was Queen of Canada until her death, and now we have King Charles, which was a fantastic one. But it kind of brought to a lot of memory, a lot of people that were wishing that Diana was still alive. It kind of opened up a little bit of sore wounds in the minds of people, wishing that she was the one that was crowned. But it was a fantastic one indeed. It was really, really great and very colorful. And Britain basically showed that age-old tradition that never faded away. So we in Canada, we enjoyed it. We had a fantastic time watching it. And it was great. It was really awesome.
It was great. Yes, George, a lot of people were watching too around the world. And more importantly, we were seeing something that we've never seen for a long time. We've never seen kings being coronated. Most people in this generation have never experienced that. This generation is not too, they were not used to this monarchy kind of thing. We're not used to, these are some phenomenon that's almost fading out. But that went live, and people were curious. So the audience on TV, on social media was heavy, you know. Then one interesting thing about it all was that the king had to be named King Charles III. That means they've had King Charles the first, and
First
King
and the
Charles,
second.
and now the third. And it was a very, I would say it was a beautiful event. I watched all through. I saw from the church to the Westminster Abbey, the signing and all that he did, and we were ushered to the king taking over the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth nation, like you just said. Yes, beautiful.
It was indeed, it was amazing. And then it just kind of put it in the mouth of people how tasteful it would be when William, the heir apparent, will come alive, will be coronated, and then you see the successors there, his first son also. It was incredible, honestly.
Yeah. So yes, let's welcome again Stephen. Stephen, can you hear us now? It's good to see you. How's Germany this morning? Stephen Adioye. Okay.
Very well, thank you. A bit cold. Happy New Year to you all. Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, Stephen, George and I are looking back at a recap of 10 most significant world events in 2023. And so today, that's what we're focusing on. We're rolling it back. So we just talked on one major event was the coronation of King Charles of the United Kingdom. So what will you say about that, looking from Germany? I know you were in Germany watching the event.
Oh, yes. Well, like all the time, we know for sure that the world is, different things happen over the months and over the years. And you know one thing, there's always some wonderful things that happen in the midst of all these turmoil and problems and issues. One significant thing that I just remember right now, pardon me if I go right to Turkey, there's a situation where I noticed that there was this issue where a little boy was dogged out, from the huge turmoil alive.
Stephen, don't worry. We'll come to the earthquake in Turkey. We'll come to, we're taking it bit by bit, major occurrences in 2023. So I hope you can hear me. So we'll come to Turkey when we get to that line. But it's good to see you, Stephen. Also joining us in faraway Lagos, Nigeria, is our diva, Bidi Nana. Bidi, good morning. It's morning in Milan. What is it in Lagos? Is it midnight or daylight? Good morning, Bidi. Bidi, okay. All right, everybody. So, everybody, I hope we're not having.
Another thing that happened actually during that coronation was a lot of people didn't understand that the coronation, that ceremony that took place was actually a religious celebration. And the placing of the crown upon the head formalizes the monarch's role as the head of the Church of England and marks the transfer of their title and powers. So that's one of the things that still remain, even up until today. They are actually the head of the Church of England. If you remember history, it was one of the most dysfunctional times when there was war between Catholicism, Protestants and all that kind of stuff. So the Queen and the King became the head of the Church of England. That's another area, that kind of came up again during that coronation, that you will see that it was basically not only traditional, but a religious ceremony.
Oh, nice, George. Nice. You are giving it to us. Okay. We go on to another major occurrence. Stephen, I hope you're following and your line is open. Once again, I welcome BD. BD, it's good to have you this morning. How are you? Are you hearing us?
Yeah, I can hear you very well. Good morning, everyone.
Good.
I'm doing well.
Wow.
Yeah.
We get excited when we see you, BD, because you are there in Nigeria and you're a point person, very vital contact for us right there in Nigeria. So, BD, we're looking at 2023. We're rolling back the news to 2023, and we're making a recap of 10 most significant world events in 2023. So we just finished. George just gave a beautiful one on coronation of King Charles in the UK. So let us just hear from you. How did Nigeria see that event? How was it looking from your corner, BD?
Yeah, it was a great one. Nigerians actually embraced it. You remember, even some Nigerians did a shebi for that. But Africa generally actually did frown at that coronation because we saw a lot of people from African continent, telling Prince Charles that the best thing he could do is to return some of the things they stole from Africans. Do you understand? So people were actually surprised that Nigerians were picking up at that point. Nigerians actually celebrated with them, Africans celebrated with them, but at least it gave them an opportunity to say something that many of them have not been able to say over the years. Mostly people who made this comment were actually young Africans. They spoke to Prince Charles that he should redo what his mother did. And some people, like I said earlier, made a shebi with them to tell them that they are with them. More especially Nigerians, Nigerians will always support British, whatever thing they are doing, because
yes,
they are like when it comes to Africa, I call them, they are like their first child.
First
So
child.
it was a good one. And another thing is it projected us to the limelight. You remember, T.Y. Savage was one of the singers in that occasion. You remember?
That's correct.
Yes. Hip hop.
T.Y.
Savage. She featured there. She sang, and everybody were happy.
Nice. Yes. Good. You see, BD just brought the flavor, that African flavor to it, the Commonwealth flavor. The way we attach to Britain through the Commonwealth is very, very interesting. Nice, BD. Thank you. Welcoming also Dr. Godwin Ibe. This is Dr. Godwin's favorite moment, when he comes to
really?
What happens?
Godwin, you're welcome.
Thank you.
And also, we're having Fiona Ngozi from London. Fiona, it's good to see you this beautiful Friday morning, 5th of January 2024 here in Milan. Fiona, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Nice to be here. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. You're welcome.
So, good morning.
Fiona and Godwin, what we just did was what we're doing today majorly is roll back the news in 2023. So we're making a recap of 10 most significant world events that happened in 2023. And Fiona, you were right there in the center of the first one, the coronation of King Charles III of United Kingdom. And we know you probably you were on the streets with them too, watching or something. So tell us, what happened that day? Let's hear from you.
First of all, I'm going to correct you. I'm a bit of an anti-monarchist, so I wasn't on the streets. So that was the thing that didn't happen. So essentially, we had an additional bank holiday, which was nice. We all got to relax, and we were able to watch all the proceedings on TV if we so desired. I mean, I think after his mother was on the throne for essentially 70 years. It's a massive change, and the change is not something that will happen overnight. It's going to happen really over years, because we have to change our currency, and things like that. I mean, it brought a bit of a feel-good factor at the time, but I mean, the Queen had been around for such a long time that the sadness almost overshadowed the fact that there was a new monarch, if that makes any sense. So I mean, all in all, it was a pleasant enough experience, and we're still dealing with the changes even till date, because obviously the national anthem has had to change, because we're now God Save the King, not the Queen. So other, the top lawyers, the QCs are now the KCs. So there's so many different little minor things that have to change as a result of the fact that our monarch is now a king, not a queen. But as I said, I'm not an anti-monarch. I'm just not a monarchist, so I'm probably not the best person to speak, too highly or best about the situation. So yeah, so that's kind of what it is here in the UK. Yeah,
we'll take you on that some other time. Hearing this is strange. A British person that doesn't like.
No, it's not strange. It's not strange.
Yes, Godwin.
It's not strange. She's very honest. And especially being in London, to be able to say those views openly on this platform, it shows honesty and the lack of desire to pander to political correctness. And I commend her for that. Statistically, it's proven that a mere 9% of adults were interested in the coronation event. Just 9%, not up to 10%. Wow. So she's reflecting the lack of interest in fact, I remember that the Guardian made an article. They called it a dated pageant, an outdated pageant. That's what they called it. And this is a British publication. So I believe, while we try to, look at the entertainment value, because a lot of people just want to use it for media coverage, for bait clicks, and the entertainment value. But there it is clear that a lot of people feel not only lack interest in the event, but a lot of Africans complain about the colonial past. I'm not the kind of person who promotes, who shouts that, oh, Britain needs to return to Nigeria what they collected and all of that, including the artworks. I'm not speaking that way, because I know that rights are not given, they are taken. As long as you lack the leverage to collect what you own, you continue to lose it every single time. So until Nigeria builds itself to the point where you can say you better return that before in 2 weeks' time, while we still want you to return it peacefully, then it will not be returned. So we should focus on building ourselves to have the leverage to tell and to instill our interests, both national and strategic interests. And at least we don't need to seek the love of everybody, but we need to seek the respect, so that when we speak, people are interested, even if they like us or they don't like us. Thank you.
Wow. It's burning hot here, viewers, today. We're rolling back on 2023. And now we've come to the part that we need you the most, Godwin. 2023 saw Ukraine-Russia war continue. We all know February 24th, 2022, that was 2 years back, Russia invaded Ukraine in an escalation of what you call the Russo-Ukraine war. And that's something that has been starting from 2014. But this particular invasion in February 2022 became one of the largest attacks on a European country since Second World War. It has been estimated that tens of thousands of Ukraine civilians have died, and casualties, thousands of military casualties, and it played out all through 2023. So let me begin with George, Russia-Ukraine war.
Should we not begin with the man who is at the seat of the throne of Russia?
No, he's going to come. He's going to come.
It doesn't have to start with me, but
I'm going to give him. I'm going to say from your own point of view, and he will probably put to rest whatever it is.
Sir George, go ahead.
Well, anyway, that when we just came out of the pandemic, and the bitter taste of the pandemic was on everybody's mouth. And the way that I viewed that Russian invasion was wrong time, and it added to the pain, that people were going through the pandemic and everything. And even up until today, we are still suffering the consequences of that, because that invasion kind of stagnated the recovery, economic recovery of the world at large. And it's still happening now. Europe was one of the people that were so badly affected because of the sanctions that were being put on Russia regarding gas and all those type of things. So it didn't help matters at all. Personally, I felt the pain, because things, gas prices were up, and economic recovery was slowed down. And so basically, that's one of the things that I was wondering, why now? Why couldn't Russia have waited until such a time as after the recovery to do this? But, it was a mixed feeling, actually. It was actually a mixed feeling because, on everybody's mind, actually, because number one was, some people were saying that.
Yeah, George, what we'll do, because you have a small time and there's so much to talk about, what we'll do is let's roll with a minute or two for each person.
Okay. No problem.
We can cover. So who's going next? Adioye, you are close to, a little bit close, not too close anyway. How was the Russia-Ukraine thing?
Thank you very much. For us in Germany, we had a very strong impact in terms of economic downturn. 40 to 45% of our oil and gas comes from Russia, and Ukraine also play a very important role. And the gas pipe was also negotiated that it would go through Ukraine to the entire Europe. So again, when we think about the situation on the ground, economically, the war has and still have impact on the situation on the ground, not only in Germany, but also in Europe. The second part that I will be aware of the fact that I have only 1 minute. The second part I'd like to express or speak about is the 43,000 tons of Ukraine to Africa every year was actually not possible anymore. It affects the entire world. So in that line, the whole world
was affected.
It's a clear message to us that we are living in a global world.
It's a clear message to us that we're living in a global world. BD, Africa suffered the most when it came to the grain, food coming from Ukraine, and a lot of things also that Africa benefited. That was cut down. How was it? How was Ukraine, Russia impact on Africa, Nigeria, where you are?
Well, there was a lot of devastating impact of that Russian invasion in Ukraine. But one thing you should know about Africa is that you might not get the real details of the impact. And being our nature, the way we do things in Africa here, we don't, what I call, we're not always truthful when it comes to things. They might not really tell you the real situation on ground. And we don't have a system of following up to really understand how this thing has affected us. But in recent, that's what actually affected us in many ways, directly and indirectly. And if you look at what is happening in Africa now, there's a battle of supremacy in Africa between the Russian and the Western world. And in that part, I will tell you, that's what actually affected Africa most. area of Ukraine, we know what happened. The Russia cut off the supply, and the Africans are still suffering with it today. But an average African might not really know why he or she is going through what they are going through. Well, I
What they
must
are going
tell
through.
you, the devastating effect of impact of that war, Africans felt it more.
Thank you very much. That was direct. Fiona, they flooded UK with Ukrainian refugees, and they were even taking some of your husbands. Some men were being taken over by the refugee ladies from Ukraine. Fiona,
Run
how,
afoul.
So, I mean, I'm going to speak to that just in brief. I mean, the Ukrainian ladies are really elegant, so I can understand why, there's some of them are really amazing. So I mean, not like that, but no cap. So, yes, I think I'm going to talk more from the emotive and emotional side. I echo what everybody else said. A lot of things I was even surprised to understand about the supply of cooking oil. I didn't really realize, you just buy things in the shop, you don't really understand where it's coming from, you just pick it up. So that was something that was particularly interesting for me during that time. But to speak to the emotive part, I was fortunate enough to do some work within the community with refugees. So I met a lot of displaced people from Ukraine. And one of the things that I really admired is the kind of spirit that they had in the face of all this massive Goliath, the togetherness. I had a lady who drove from London to Ukraine with a load of medical supplies. I met so many people. I met consultants that had been displaced, and the issue was the English language. So my role was actually teaching them English within the community. And I must speak to their absolute strength and tenacity in the face of this. They just stand together and they just won't back down. I have a member of staff who's also from Ukraine, and one of the difficult things was that she came here with her daughter and left her husband behind. And the one poignant thing that she said to me that will never leave me, she said, when she got here, her daughter hadn't been here. She has lived here in the past. And her daughter said, Mom, where do we go when the siren goes off? Where do we hide? Her daughter had been so used to and accustomed to them going for shelter anytime there was an air raid. So that's one thing that has stayed with me, ever since, the whole conflict started and they started, coming into the United Kingdom. I think the United Kingdom has really embraced within the context of what it is to embrace people. I think they've been quite accepting of the situation and been very supportive. We have so many centers, so many, activities, etc., to kind of absorb them into the community. So that's kind of been our experience here.
thank you very much. Viewers, you're tuned to ISSM World Affairs today, Friday, the 5th of January 2023. We're running back, we're going back, taking it back to significant world events in 2023. And we're talking about Russia-Ukraine war. Godwin, before you come in, let me also inform you all that I just got a note from the network. We will not go on a break. So we'll just take you through till the end because our time is short and there's more things to talk about. Godwin, go ahead. Your guy slammed Ukraine. You guys didn't realize that we were coming out from Corona. We were desperate to get back to life. And
I heard all that. And frankly, I'll tell you, every war is a catastrophe, and this is no exception. War is not something you should consider or take lightly, and you must exhaust all avenues of peace before you consider war. So I'm a person of peace, but it doesn't cloud my idea of understanding the reasons or the rationale why people may go to war and what interests are at stake. I would like to also state that many of the wars we have in the world are political elites that are fighting among themselves, and common citizens just pick sides and ignorantly, sheepishly joining the foray without actually understanding deeply what is going on. For example, when you go into wars and you go into the resources that are on the lands that are being fought over, and you might understand what exactly is going on. Some of those resources are not yet announced because they've been explored. There's this exploratory stage, and then to understand the capacity and the evaluate how much resources before it's announced and investors are allowed to come in. So intelligence services may know some of these potential resources before informing the public, and you may not know why you're supporting one side or the other. Lastly, I also want to comment on the tenacity of the Russians, despite the face of the oppression of Russian citizens in Donetsk and Lugansk Republic over 8 years, up to the point of 2022, before the invasion of Iraq. The United Nations talked about the deaths and of a lot of Russian-speaking people in the Ukraine at that point in time, especially of civilians. And I commend their tenacity. I also want to add emotional perspective to that. They survived what a lot of people didn't want to report, and many of them are living now in Russia with Russian citizenship, and they've had a change of life. Also, the war affected everybody, including Russians and Europe. You know, to Germany, there were 5 pipelines supplying Russian gas to Europe, and not only did this war limit the supply and allow Europe to start buying LNG from spot market prices instead of long-term deals, they also helped themselves to blow up their pipeline supplying gas to them, the Nord Stream 1, Nord Stream 2,
No, we don't
whatever
have
reason.
an
For
allegation so
whatever
far.
reason,
We
no,
don't know who did that. We don't know.
you know, you had your time to speak. Let me finish. This what I'm saying is published in famous Western publications, and and said by many famous reputable journalists. Now, we can never know first-hand information of almost anything we say there, including the statistics I've posted to you. I always quote them as secondary data because they're conducted by a reputable organization who conducts this research, and I report them to you based on the fact as secondary data, similarly to what I've reported. That I didn't think of this idea myself, but they are out there documented in the internet for the viewers to look at. Also, Russian GDP has grown. We were behind Germany before the invasion or special military operation, but somehow we overtook Germany by PPP. It's sad, basically, that it's not something to rejoice over, because I do not see economy as a zero-sum game. I see economy as a synergy. When Germany grows, Russia grows. When Russia grows, Germany grows. When Russia supplies cheap
Very much.
energy,
Okay.
Russia can industrialize better.
Yeah, you have so much to tell us, and thank you for putting your facts. And you're good at giving out those data and facts. Thank you, gentlemen. Like the network just announced to me, we will go straight through. We're not taking the break so that we can cover most of what we have here. We're still on, George. We're still on. Now we're coming to one very important time in 2023. 2023 was the year the AI, they call artificial intelligence. It was the year the AI came into mainstream. Actually, AI has been in existence since, in fact, what scientists say is since 1956, all through the 70s, 80s. That terminology has been used, and it's been on. So, but 2023 was when it came into mainstream. It was also the year it brought a lot of panic on what could happen. You know, the artificial intelligence is that intelligence of the machines and softwares, as opposed to the intelligence of human beings. So, gentlemen, let me start with George. George, let's hear you. Artificial AI came into being 2023, was used all around. Students were using it. Scientists, pharmacists, musicians were using it. And I use it too. I work with AI. In fact, I want to start a masterclass tutorial on AI. So, George, tell us, Canada and AI. I know it's wreaking havoc in Canada too.
Yeah, AI, the the introduction of AI in 2023 finally was, came out publicly, and two sides of the globe rejoiced: the criminals and those that are going to use it for for good purposes. So because in every good thing that comes up, usually you have the good ones that can use it. You still have the crooked ones, how they can kind of twist things and start using it. We're suffering the consequences even now. You don't even know who to answer anymore. And because of the introduction of AI, a lot of people now, their voices can be mimicked, and they're using it now to kidnap people. All kinds of incredible, amazing bad things that are taking place already. And this is, the sign of the future, that where we're going to be. And so AI is very, very, interesting, because a lot of students are now using it. Many people, we used to write and calculate things with our hands when we went to school. It is no longer. All you have to do now is to speak, into the AI app, and then it will give you the answers instantly, on time. So these are the things that it is incredible. It's amazing. Even industries are using it right now, and AI is displacing a lot of people from work, because some of the things that, when you come to analytical situations where you can hire people, expertise in certain area, now you can just, go ahead and type. So the entire thing there, all the answers and the analysis and the statistical data and the quotes will come out. So some people are being displaced. So right now, it's interesting, it's amazing, it's incredible, but it's still dangerous. And as a matter of fact, even nations are now beginning to use it, prepare for warfare with AI. That's another thing that is coming up. So I don't want to speak too long, because I know we have a lot of people here. Yes.
Yes, thank you. Let me come to Adeoye. George just talked about students using it. That was the first panic the AI brought up in 2023. A school, a particular classroom, and students at the school using it, and the authority had to come to. They had to put it out on the government and say, listen, this thing might cause problem with students. Students might not be as intelligent as they want them to be in that space. Adeoye, how is AI treating Germans, students, scientists, workers, and everybody?
Right. I'm a farmer, and I'd like to speak about the influence or the impact of artificial intelligence in light of agriculture today. We are at the moment in the 4th industrial revolution. And 70% of our farmers in Africa are subsisting farmers. And we expect them to feed the entire continent. Now, with the proper use of artificial intelligence, you have integrated agriculture. You are able to get into the culture of agriculture itself, using all the parameters available in agriculture today anymore, as people having Wellington boots and torn shirts, but you have people who actually can use the artificial intelligence to enhance production, to add more value to our small-scale farmers. Imagine 70% of all the farmers in Africa, those who expect them to feed us, are not actually having one single artificial intelligence at their disposal. And so this is the challenge, and I'm really excited about it. Thinking about precision agriculture, integrated agriculture, enhancing this activity with our local people. It's not difficult. Artificial intelligence can translate to Yoruba, Igbo, Russian, whatever, and make it very.
Oh, that's it. Thank you very much. Bidi, I see Nigerians are using it a lot, and like George said, they also use it in some very negative way. They are using it to mimic the voice of some of the presidential candidates. They used it during that campaign. They used it to spread some malicious reports, so making it look like one bad thing that has come to human. BD, how is AI and Nigerians?
Yeah, and Nigerians are doing well. One thing you should know is that AI has digitalized our society. I'm telling you, AI is one of the most profound impacts of AI on the workforce. Now, the thing is this: AI, the automation of AI is well felt this time around. A lot of jobs have been replaced by this AI. But now, I
Oh,
think a lot of people are becoming so comfortable with it because they cannot get their work done with speed without
yes.
much stress. But I think that before this AI, people who brought this AI before, a lot of people were thinking that this AI will awaken people's brains, awaken people to get to work. Do you understand? Having
Mhm.
in mind that this thing is here to replace us, this thing is here to take over our jobs. With
Mm.
that, a lot of people will wake up mentally, start doing mental work, start
Mhm.
getting to work with their brain, because that's actually what AI is trying to tell us. Put your
Mm.
brain at work. Let your brain get to work. But rather, we are not getting that. People are becoming. Well, I don't even know the word to use. They're becoming more relaxed. Do you
Okay.
understand? They feel that, oh, it's not easy to get things done. Not understanding the after effect of this AI. AI is good.
Yes.
It has made life easy. People can get to write their reports, write stories, write music, even give you ideas to get things done without you having the idea. But in the other way around, we are not looking at the effect of this AI. And that is the bad side of it. It's
That's the
making
bad
life
side.
easy, but we're not looking at the after effect of this AI. Because before you know it, we might not be able to do anything again. We'll all depend on AI. And by then, it will dawn on us that we've made a lot of mistakes.
Wow, thank you very much, BD. Let me add that I work on AI. It is not really what many people think. AI will not lay off people from work. In fact, what will happen is humans will even get smarter if they understand this whole thing, because you need
And
somebody to program. You need to put the prompt. You need to write. You need to come up with some analysis, some details, and impute it into that into that the AI platform, and it gives you a result. So for
exactly.
people to yes, for people to say it's going to lay work, I don't think so from my angle.
Now,
Um,
with AI powered machines, a lot
mhm.
of work has been taken over. A lot of skilled job has been taken over. I hope you are aware of that. In an
Yes.
office, in an organization, if they need 20 workers with AI, they might just employ 10. It means that 10 has been laid off. And now, if you're among those people and you're not using your brain, don't you think that you're making a very big mistake? You need to come up with a lot of things that AI cannot overtake from you. But a lot of people are not doing that. They are not looking in that direction. That's the point me I'm trying to make. Do you
Okay.
understand?
Thank
AI
you very much.
has come to take a
Fiona,
lot of
do you
jobs.
think
But it's going
yes. Fiona, do you think AI will cause unemployment and lay people off their job? What do you say about AI, Fiona?
Yeah, I think I agree with what Ms. BD said. That I think it goes without saying that that is definitely going to be one of the repercussions. I don't think it's even a debatable thing. I think where some if I was going to write a policy, for example, it's something that would take me a while to draft, etc., etc. I can just put it in Chat GPT and it's done for me in literally seconds. So I think I agree with what she's saying. From an education point of view here in the UK, yes, a lot of students have been using AI in terms of doing their coursework, doing their dissertations. And I know of a case, a friend is actually involved with this case where the university has actually taken one of their students to court for plagiarism. because of course the plagiarism side is the other, is the other, side of this this AI. So I think it's amazing, especially when you need to do something really quickly. I think it's great, personally, from my own personal experience. But I also see the negative impact that can be as a result. I think we saw protests in Hollywood and stuff like that. So I understand why people are jittery about it, definitely. And I don't think there's anything. I think it's common sense to be concerned about the impact it's going to have on people's employment. Yeah. So.
Can I say something quickly before the Dr. comes in? Can I say something?
Yes.
I went to see my doctor. So while we were there discussing, so I told him exactly what was going on and all that. He was asking me questions. So while I was discussing with him, he just put a little bit of something on the computer. So and then he put another one, and all the answers were coming. So later on, used to be that he might answer me from his experiences and knowledge and what he has actually learned, but these days it's no longer. So after he did that and he started giving me before we could even finish talking, he's already printed out all my prescription and everything. So I asked him, he's a good friend of mine, very close friend. He started laughing. He said, this is what he told me: ever since I became a doctor, this is the most refreshing time of my life. There has been a paradigm shift in the hard we can work. And so I told him, I said, bro, this app you're using, is it available for everybody? So he started laughing and he said, well, what do you want to go to? You want to go to South Africa and become a medical doctor? Use this so for people. I said, can it be done? It's like, of course, it's very easy. All I have to do is to teach you how to do prescriptions, and it's easy. And then you get and it will give you the prescription, the side effects, and everything. And you can just read it all out to the person, and you become the most genius among the community.
Dr. Godwin, are you using AI? Are you using AI now in your facility, Dr. Godwin?
Of course. AI is important both for studying, for analyzing symptoms, analyzing clinical cases over a very long period of time, noticing trends, and for coming up with new, more advanced drugs and medicine. In fact, I want to build up on what Sir George said. We have one of these. I'm not going into. I can't go into specifics here, obviously, but I'll just speak about it generally. There's a patient who complained to me about some things, so I sent the person based on the insurance policy to a particular therapist to see. And the therapist came in, he said, oh, you're feeling no problem, go for this test, go for this test. They did all the tests and she wrote that. And then he came back with very terrible review. He said, this insurance policy is messed up. I said, what's the problem? He said, the doctor didn't touch him. So, the doctor didn't touch me. He didn't feel me. He didn't touch me. He didn't press. I said, oh, it's so important. I said, but you have the result. These are your results. This is what you have. Look at it. He says, no, that he came, he felt empty. He went and he came and it was empty. So I understand the human interaction.
Godwin, do you think we need AI? Do you think?
Obviously, let me quickly go into it. Apart from the few disadvantages, we need to talk about singularity, which a lot of people are afraid of. A point in time when technology becomes so superior and it leads to an uncontrollable series of events beyond human control, which leads to terrible consequences for human. It's in many movies, we know about this singularity. But apart from that, some of my colleagues have talked about unemployment, plagiarism, intelligence snooping, and all of that. But I want to talk about the positive also. It reduces human error. We know that the human error is a major problem. It allows us to make better decisions in some cases. I think it increases efficiency as well. It reduces bias, and it's available. It's always available. Like many of us use bots that you just ask a question and you get the answer. So it's available, makes decision faster. You can use it in risky situations where you can't go as a human. You send in maybe a drone to go to do something, and also personalization. What Dr. Sir George said about sorry, I want to just quickly touch on it. That app you're seeing, you might belittle the app in the sense that, oh well, why do we need to study again if we have the app? But there's something the app is doing that a human being cannot do. The app can receive big data immediately and reinvent itself on the spot. So another computer can be learning somewhere with data and then feed this app that big data, and it works with that big data and reinvents itself and treats you in a different way.
Thank you very much.
So it's a very good aspect.
Thank you all for this input. AI viewers, AI 2023 made it mainstream, and it has come to stay. Gentlemen, because of time, let me just read through two of one important occurrence in 2023. Then we will go to something that you all will talk about. One of it was riots, not too far from me in France. France had series of riots and protests, climate protests, and all the rest. So 2023 was a very strong one in France. Riots. France encountered several turbulence over the past 12 months in 2023. And there was also those bitter battles over pension reforms and sizzling heat waves and nationwide rioting, like I said. Also, in Africa as a whole,
and France left Niger. France left Niger.
Thank you. In Africa also, there was a crisis of coups. That's something I wish we all could talk about, but because of time, in different parts of Africa, where coups are just spearing up, pump, like popcorn, and they even dubbed it the Coup Belt year for Africa. So we had Niger, we had all of them, Mali. You all remember those countries. So two events major events in Africa: coup, France riot. Now there's this small one that piqued our interest because of the movie everybody saw, the Titanic. You all remember the Titanic movie. 2020 saw a sub-crew of Titanic tourists going to look at the Titanic ship submerged in the sea, and they all got blown up and died right there. So that was another thing. Then this one, maybe you guys can talk about it now, because somebody was raising it up before. Earthquake in Turkey and Syria. That was a major occurrence in 2023. Over 59,000 people were killed in Turkey and neighboring country Syria. Dioye, you were going to say something about that the other time. Can you give us some synopsis? Dioye?
Thank you very much. Regarding the issue of the destructive, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, well, thank you for letting me in on this. And most of them are very close to us. And, one of the family member who lost two people in Turkey is a good friend of mine. And so we were actually very close to the event, although it's some thousands of kilometers away. So, and we also experience influx of, refugees because of that as well in Germany. As I said, Germany is the second home to most of the Turkish people. So this incident was very close to our heart. And we felt very, 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 sad, and, condolence to people who lost, their loved ones. As I was saying earlier, one of the two greater things that we also are thankful about was a little child which was dogged out of the turmoil, the huge, slap and this boy came alive, and everybody just clap hands and rejoice for this one life. So if there's anything, we were happy that at least one life out of the 59,000, who today we don't know what happened to him, but we hope and believe that is fine and well.
Fine and well. Please, my people, 5 minutes to our time. We all would talk on this because this matters a lot, and that is human population, the human population on planet Earth. In 2023, India passed China as the world's most populous country. China used to be the largest, most populous country, but in 2023, India took that step. India had 1.43 billion people. India now has. Now, let's talk about this. Let me start with George. Humanity is growing, and the earth is still very small for all of us. It's still small. Yes, the earth is still small. George, what will you say? Human population, we are now going to 9 billion, 9 point something, and that's a huge number anyway. But George,
we haven't reached now. We're saying 8 point something billion.
So when you have more efficiency in medical, analysis, and less people will die, and more people will be living longer, and that's why we have the increase. But he who started it from the very beginning knew that it will happen. So I don't think we should be afraid. All this climate situation, we need to be climate friendly, and we need to, take care of our, environment and stuff like that. There's sometimes this outcry that we have a lot about, you start seeing humans becoming deeds in their own rights by trying to wipe out certain, the Darwin's doctrine of, killing certain people so that others can live. It's not in my sight, I don't believe in that. So even if we have if the Earth's population double, believe me, it can sustain it, because it's all about people fearing, and the person who started all these things knew that this time will come, and then that people, lives will be saved, and people might start living longer. So I don't think, personally, I'm not afraid of nothing. So India is, I applaud India actually, because they have been doing great in different areas, including in their own population. And what happened with China, actually, they started reducing the number of births in that place. That's part of the reason why there was reduction in their population.
Okay. BD, thank you, George. BD, Africa is 1 point something, I think 1.4 billion. Is that correct? Africa has 1.4 billion people. BD, can Africa cope with the rising population? And do you think they should stop having babies? Some people say Africa should stop having babies. No, they can't take care of their babies. BD?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Africa can cope. Africa can actually cope with it. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Very well.
Africa can actually cope with the population if they understand who they are, what they have, and make use of it for their own good. Yes, I'm one of those people who support to stop the having of babies, because as it stands now, we can't even take care of ourselves. So why should we keep bringing more people who can't take care of? We can take care of ourselves if we start doing things right. Using the national resources we have, using ourselves to have the numbers to take care of ourselves, we can. But having more babies, no, we should stop. We've had enough.
We've had enough. Fiona, the population is growing. India now has a record, and 2024 might see more numbers, but 2023 broke the record for India, and that added also to our numbers as human beings on Earth. Fiona, what do you say about this?
I think I echo what Sir George said. I think, you know, the world is big enough for all of us. I think the key thing in all this is really about making us as human beings more responsible in every way. So responsible in terms of having the number of children we can look after, responsible in terms of the way we look after the environment, so that our children's children will have have a space on earth to live. So I think it's about the responsibility issue, really. That's the key thing in the whole population debate. If we're going to be responsible about everything, you know, all the choices we make, everything in terms of subsistence farming, in terms of the way we look after ourselves, our environment, then I think I think the world can cope. I think the world can cope.
The world can cope. Thank you very much, Godwin. Okay, before Godwin, let Adeoye give us some take on that. Adeoye, please say something.
Well, I think I would want to sort of echo Lady Fiona and Sir George's opinion about this. The world is big enough for us. Look at, for example, Namibia. Namibia has a very huge land space, and about just one point, they can feed the whole world. So obviously, we just have to look into, you know, equal distribution of wealth, and of course, increase yield in production of food, drinks, and whatever livestock, without having to destroy the environment and damage the ecosystem. So there is an opportunity, vast opportunity, if we make good use of them. And you know, there's enough to feed all of us. Actually, really,
all of us. And it's an advantage for you guys in the agri sector, Stephen. I mean, more mouth to feed, more work, more money for you, and all that. Thank you, Godwin. Please round up.
Yeah, we're very much excited about this time. We're very much excited about this time. It is dubbed that in 2030, over $4 trillion will go into agriculture. But the question is, who benefits from this? Not the Africans. But we want to change the narrative.
Yeah.
Yes, Godwin. Godwin, you're running up. You're running up.
Okay. Yes, obviously we have to. Africa can take part more in this revolution if we are going to produce more high-skilled labor and more high-value product rather than raw materials. I also want to add that what we were talking about, the whole revolution, we can never assure equal distribution of wealth. What we can do is to give equal opportunity, because competition is good. Hunger is the best motivator to work hard and to succeed. Just like over time we have competed for mating rights, we also compete for status in the society and for the ability to feed ourselves and our family. And of course, if we can contribute better to our family comparatively, we're going to be able to contribute to the community better comparatively. Thank you.
Nice. Viewers, you can't beat this squad here. These are minds, brain, and beautiful insights today. Gentlemen, I want to thank you for coming through. We've put to rest 2023, we rolled it back, and we said it the way we all could. Thank you so much. Thank you, Fiona from London, Adeoye from Germany, Godwin from Russia, George from Toronto, Canada, and BD from Lagos, Nigeria. There were more events, actually, more things happening in 2020, but we just picked these little ones and rolled it back. So on this note, I want to wish you guys a beautiful weekend. Viewers, thank you for staying tuned. News Echoes will be running 3 times in the week from next week. So we'll be here on Monday again. We'll be here on Wednesday and also on Friday. So I say thank you, and have a beautiful new first week of the year. Bye-bye.